Hi, this is Cheryl Bullock, and I'm your committee chair. And I wanted to walk you through something if you're doing qualitative analysis. So I'll be posting this in the learner course, the students' course rooms where for those of you doing qualitative analysis. So I want to do a quick walkthrough here. Here's something you need to read about, think about, understand has to be done. And that's when you're doing qualitative studies, you have a tremendous amount of data. It's words, but it's data. And you have to figure out a way to organize that and make sense of it, certainly for your dissertation. So here are some of the little tricks that I have found that I think they're not so much tricks, they're strategies that are done in the literature and you can find, but that I particularly like. And the first one is creating a code book, which you will have to do if you are doing a qualitative study with interviews or focus groups So a code book is something that you set up to look like this. Now, codes are not themes. Codes are different from themes. So you can expect to have up to 50 codes show up. And how you do that is you just read through the interview and highlight things that you find as a code. Now, here's the missing piece. You're going to need to get into the literature and read about this. This is not something I can teach you in 2 seconds, but I'm giving you the basics. So a code book, you're going to have number for code, and the golden rule is up to 50. You should have 50 codes or more. But then you name the code, and then you define it. So this code might be, I'm reading along through an interview and I see that principals feel like their staff need more training. So I would say staff training. And then here I would say principals feel their staff needs more training, and on and on and on. And your code book is the first place you start to accumulate the data. So it's going to be pretty, I'm not sure loose is the right word, but it's the first place where you start to pull your data into a recognizable form, and that's called a code book. And you should have up to 50 codes, and they come simply from reading through the transcripts of your interviews and saying, this is a code, this is a code, this is a code. But don't just take this, what I'm telling you right now, as all you need to do. You got to read about code books. You got to read about how to create them. You got to be able to cite from the current peer-reviewed literature. But that's what they're talking about when they talk about code books. A thematic analysis table is your next step. So you have codes, you go through all the codes, you've got all these, you've done interviews, now you've transcribed them, now you're reading through every interview, and you're seeing in your 12 interviews that you have 87 different codes that show up. All right. Now you're going to do a thematic analysis table. And that's where you say, okay, well, I think code 3, 9, 12, and 59 all fit as this more these oh man. Okay, sorry, I had to shut that off there. So a thematic analysis table looks something like this, and I've got these numbers in here. I want you to read about this. Get into the literature. Look at the thematic analysis table and think to yourself, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be looking at. Find me examples of this from the literature. And you would do that for each research question. So themes. The next thing that we want to talk about, and this is really where you want to end up in your analysis, is with some themes. Now, themes, you're not going to have 50. Themes are different than codes. I can't give you the specific number, but you know what? You can find that number. You can find numbers within the literature in your own specific area. How many themes do they say should emerge from this type of analysis? So I wanted to just quickly show you these three things. They're not going to make a lot of sense right now, and that's fine. But I want you to know you need to understand them before you start doing your qualitative analysis. Thanks.